Hello everyone, good to have you with us today. It's a pleasure for me to welcome you to our webinar about public finance for local government. My name is Pieter Joensen, I'm the director of VNG International. Before I give the floor to my colleagues Siebe Stellingwerf and Arjen Schep, I'd like to give you a short introduction to the VNG. The VNG is the Association of Netherlands Municipalities. And the VNG was founded in 1912. So we are rooted in a long, long history of local democracy and local governance. We're based here in The Hague. And why in The Hague? Because we are the voice of the Dutch municipalities at the national level. 342 municipalities are members of the VNG, and they are all voluntary members. Some people say that the VNG is the most influential lobby organization in the Netherlands. Having said that, the VNG is at least for all municipalities here to promote strong, high-quality local government. And as I said, we're rooted in a long history. We're here for our members. We've got three main tasks. In the first place, we're the lobby organization. Advocacy for our members, the voice of our members here at the national level. Second task, supporting local government. Service delivery to our members. The third main task is the platform function, support and services to our members. Sharing knowledge, sharing our experiences between our members. Our director, Leonard Geluk, and our president, Sharon Dijksma, the mayor of Utrecht. Both really committed to the local government and local democracy. And then, to conclude, VNG International. VNG International is the international development cooperation of the VNG. VNG has always been committed to the international local democracy, always been active internationally. Of course, we want to share our knowledge, our experiences in the Netherlands with the sister organizations, with other municipalities worldwide. About taxation, about waste collection, about energy. We would like to share our knowledge with you. VNG International is funded by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but we've got also other donors like USAID or the European Union. 60 people working for us here in The Hague and 150 colleagues worldwide. Active in more than 40 countries with 9 local offices. And then I would like to give the floor to my colleagues. Arjen Schep is the Erasmus Professor Taxes of Local Governments here in Rotterdam, and my colleague Siebe Stellingwerf, the Coordinator and Project Manager on Taxes and Local Revenue.
Hello and welcome to this webinar. My name is Arjen Schep. I'm an endowed professor Taxes of Local Government at the Erasmus School of Law at Erasmus University of the city of Rotterdam. And today I'm happy to inform you more and to tell you more about the funding of local public services in the Netherlands. In this webinar, I will introduce you to the local governments in the Netherlands, the fiscal transfers from the central government to municipalities, the own source of revenues of municipalities in the Netherlands, the levying and collecting of taxes in the Netherlands, and I will conclude with a short reflection. Let's first introduce you to the Netherlands. The Netherlands is a small country. In square meters, it's about the same size as Denmark and Switzerland. And for example, Germany, our bigger neighbor in Europe, is about 9 times bigger the size of the Netherlands. The Netherlands is a constitutional monarchy. That means that the king's position is regulated in the constitution. The king is the head of state, and which mostly is a ceremonial role. He signs laws, but the ministers are responsible for the implementation and executions of the law. The Netherlands is also a decentralized unitary state. in which provinces and municipalities have extensive powers in regard to their own internal affairs. These powers are also anchored in the Constitution. Water boards have less powers than municipalities and provinces. Their tasks are related to water management. As the name suggests, the Netherlands is a low-lying country. Much of the country is located below sea level. This has traditionally meant that water boards are responsible for keeping our feet dry and purifying the water. The Dutch are a strange people who like order and efficiency. Maybe it's because we're such a flat country, but the Dutch also have a natural aversion towards unequal treatment. This also applies to differences in the service level of municipalities. For example, the difference in tax rates between municipalities are published every year. This combination of the preferred efficient organization and aversion of inequality also applies to the organization of governmental tasks. This also means that from the 50s on of the last century, the policy was aimed at more cooperation between municipalities. And this increasingly leads to the merging of municipalities, which means that the number of municipalities is decreasing every year. And reasons for more cooperation and merging of municipalities are strengthening the organizational power, having more efficiency, and cost reduction. And the cooperation and merging of municipalities is also encouraged by the central government and is also regulated by law. Now let's elaborate more on the fiscal transfers. In this flowchart, the municipal account is in the center. Through different paths, municipalities acquire income. In the end, the majority of the income comes from the central government and comes from tax revenues that the central government receives from his citizens and companies. There's also income from the exploitation of municipal property and land. And municipalities are also able to borrow money on the capital market for large investments. If we zoom in on the main sources of income of Dutch municipalities, the most important source of income are the fiscal transfers from what we call the municipal fund in the Netherlands. 57% of the total income of all Dutch municipalities combined comes from grants from the central government. The revenue from own rates, from own taxes, such as the property tax, constitutes only 18% of the municipality's income. There is therefore a relatively high dependence on the central government when it comes to municipalities' own revenues. So how is this municipal fund distributed? How about sharing this pie among the municipalities? This system is anchored in law, and it's based on a theory written by a Dutch scholar in the 1970s, and it still applies. His theory is based on a scale, where at the one end of the scale, there is no interference of the central government at all, and where every municipality has full autonomy on choice of which services they want to provide and on the quality and quantity of these services. And in that extreme scenario, they are also free in determining the tax rates, and there are no grants from central government. Full autonomy also means full inequality. The amount of services and the quality of service is different in every municipality, and so are the tax rates. This leads to the moving of people and businesses to that municipality that is the most beneficiary to them. An unwanted scenario. At the other end of the scale, this also has its disadvantages. In this scenario, all of the income of the municipalities comes from the central government, and the central government decides on the amount and the quality of the services that are provided by the municipalities. In other words, a full equalization of services and taxes. In this scenario, there is no decentral autonomy. Local governments just execute the central government policies. The level of service and taxes in every municipality are also equal. In this scenario is also not preferable because there is no match between supply and demand, and because the preferences of the local population are not taken into account in the choice of the number and the quality of the services provided. In that scenario, there is also no local assessment of the desired level of taxes in view of the desired level of services. Therefore, in the Netherlands, the legislator chose for a position somewhere in the middle. In this middle scenario, the central grants are divided between municipalities in such a way that they can provide an equal base level of services. Municipalities can also choose for a lower or a higher level and amount of services by lowering or increasing their tax rates. So the dividing mechanism of central grants over municipalities is based on the main principle that every municipality should be able to provide a base level of goods and services to their businesses and people. For example, to achieve this, municipalities with a richer population should receive less, and municipalities with a poorer population should receive more from the central government, a bigger share of the pie. It also means that more urban municipalities with urban problems should be compensated for the specific context. These are the main principles in the Financial Relations Act on which base the central grants are divided. So firstly, it's cost-oriented. Municipalities with more objective costs than others to provide services get compensated. Secondly, it's a global distribution. There is no total equalization of the service level. There's also room for local autonomy. Thirdly, the flexibility of the system. When costs decrease or increase over time, the distribution system must be able to respond. The fourth is it should be objective. It's based on objective criteria which should not disturb the effective spending of public funds. And lastly, stability. The system should provide municipalities with a stable source of income. So when we look at the allocation of the municipal fund, these principles, which I spoke about in the last slide, have been elaborated in more than 60 distribution criteria, some of which are listed here. And the picture on the right illustrates which municipality receives a larger and which municipality receives a smaller share of the pie based on those criteria.
So Arjen, can I ask you a question? What are in general the most important principles when it comes to the dependency of local governments on fiscal transfers?
So most importantly, the fiscal transfers should be stable and predictable. Also, there should be transparency about the distributional system, and this system should be based on objective criteria. And lastly, the system should provide for sufficient funds for municipalities to be able to fund their own policy choices and also to form a buffer for unexpected financial setbacks. I think that these are the four main principles of a system of dividing central grants over municipalities, and also the relation between the central and the government and the municipalities. So let's now talk more about the own source revenues of municipalities in the form of taxes and charges. The ability and the autonomy of local governments in the Netherlands to be able to levy taxes is important. In relation to the central grants which municipalities receive, the ability to levy taxes provides three functions. Firstly, the allocation function. This means the autonomy to make municipal choices, policies, and realize ambitions. Secondly, the buffer function. Revenue from own taxes forms a buffer for unexpected financial setbacks. And thirdly, the compensation function. Despite the 60 distribution criteria, this dividing system is still not perfect. To compensate for inefficiencies in the allocation mechanism of the central grants, municipalities should be able to compensate for that with their own taxes. This figure shows the total tax revenues of the Netherlands, or in the Netherlands, and the share of local governments in this. Local taxation is only a relative small part of the total tax levied in the Netherlands. At the same time, municipalities in the Netherlands account for more than a quarter of all government spending. And this imbalance is currently part of discussions between Dutch municipalities, the VNG, and central government. Because municipalities have to carry out more and more tasks, the financial risks are also increasing. The current tax area of municipality has become too small to serve as a buffer for financial setbacks. Now let us look at the taxes and charges in the Netherlands. In the Netherlands, there is a closed system of municipal taxes. And what I mean by this is that municipalities can only levy taxes that are regulated by the central legislator. So the national legislator decides what is on the municipal menu of taxation, so to speak. And then the municipalities can choose from this menu which taxes they actually want to levy and which they don't need. Not every municipality levies a tourist tax, for example. But every municipality in the Netherlands levies property taxes. When we look at the types of levies and charges, then they can be divided into three categories. Firstly, there are general taxes. And municipalities are free to spend the revenue on general taxes. They can also determine the tax rate themselves. Municipalities therefore have the most autonomy with general taxes. Examples are the property tax, the tourist tax, and the parking taxes. Charges, the second category of levies and taxes, can be levied when people or businesses profit from waste collection, for example, or sewerage. The tariffs are cost-based, so the municipal costs of waste collection or construction and maintenance of the sewer system can be recovered. The third type of taxes are fees. These fees are also based on cost recovery of municipal costs for providing certain services like licenses and permits. This figure shows the relation between the different types of taxes related to their income, to their revenue. The property tax are by far the biggest in terms of revenue, more than 4 billion euros. And the parking taxes provide almost 1 billion. And the tourist tax is about 300 million. So these are the most important own income sources of municipalities in the Netherlands. So let's zoom in on the property taxes. So it's based on the market value of properties. It's the most important own tax revenue for municipalities, and it's based on the Municipalities Act. And it's levied on residential properties and what we call non-residential properties. So everything that is not what is not a residential property. And it's levied from owners and occupiers, users. And it's a relatively small amount of taxes. So the tax rates are relatively small related to central taxes, for example. And there are a lot of exemptions, like farmland and national parks, public roads, religious building, etc. But it's a decentralized property tax, and also the valuation of the properties is decentralized. So that's a characteristic of the Netherlands system, the Dutch system. So now let's elaborate more about the way of levying and collecting the taxes in the Netherlands. So the powers to levy and to collect taxes are centrally regulated in the Netherlands. So the municipal tax authority has the same powers as the national tax authority. So the tax authorities have very far-reaching powers that can be used if someone does not pay their taxes. Only if someone is unable to pay, there is a right to cancellation of the tax debt. In all other cases, in principle, everybody pays all the tax bills. When somebody doesn't pay, someone's salary can be seized, or someone's car, or even someone's property. Constant efforts are being made to improve the quality and transparency of the valuation of movable properties, for example. And taxpayers can object to any municipal tax assessment and appeal to the courts.
Arjen, thanks for your interesting presentation. I have a concluding question, if I may. What are the main characteristics of the Dutch system of local taxation?
So I have one slide left. Let's talk about that some more. In summary, it can be concluded that the share of local taxes in the total tax revenues in the Netherlands is relatively small, related to the amount of central grants, and also related to the total governmental spending. There is a constant consultation and coordination between different government levels. That's also very typical for the Dutch system, I think. So there's constant consultation between the VNG and the central government on which tasks should be best carried out by the municipalities and the provinces and the water boards and the central government, and about the question on how these tasks should be funded. So that's a positive thing, I guess. Not every municipality executes its own taxes. That's also very typical for the Dutch. And municipalities cooperate, also not merging. So there are the amount of municipalities decreasing, but they are also cooperate in the implementation and execution of taxes. And because of this cooperation and due to the national rules, there are a few differences in the way the taxes are imposed and in the way the taxes are carried out. And what's also very typical for the Dutch situation is a decentralized implementation of both the valuation of properties and the taxation itself. So I think that are the most typical components of the Dutch system as a summary, to sum it up.
Thank you, Arjen.
Okay. So thank you for your attention, and I hope you have a better understanding on the Dutch system of funding of the local governments. Thank you.